Good evening, this is Pine Leaf Needles, and welcome to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And tonight we have with us Andang.
Hey, everybody.
Braxwood.
Hello, everybody.
Etheros.
Hello.
Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
The ever-mysterious Mystery.
G'day.
And our special guest for tonight, Sip from Massively.
Orby-dorby-doo, burp, burp, burp.
What's up, guys?
All right, welcome, Sip, to our show.
See, this is what happens when Pine Leaf gets thrown off. There's long pauses in the show.
Yes. Very well. Sip, could you tell us a little bit something about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm a man of many colors. I kind of handle a lot of different things. I work at Massively to do news. My Lord of the Rings Online kind of connection there is I write the Road to Mordor column, and I've been covering that for about 3.5 years now. I also write on my own personal blog, BioBreak. I do a couple other podcasts, Massively Speaking, and Battle Bards, the world's only MMO music podcast, where we have actually had Chance Thomas of LOTRO fame on to do the LOTRO show several episodes back. So that was kind of a thrill.
Which is an amazing podcast, by the way.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Thank you. Takes like forever to mix, but it's really worth it. So. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me on the show. As I was saying right before the show started, LOTRO Players has just been doing a tremendous job keeping the community informed and entertained. And I don't know why you keep Pine Leaf around, but I'm sure he brings some sort of qualities to the site. Skirmishes and all that.
He likes to get a good laugh. That's why he keeps me around. Yes. And now let's have a look at the news in LOTRO. First of all, the big headline for this week, if you could call any headline this week big, is that Turbine settles the Treehouse Avatar Technologies lawsuit. And this is one of those weird lawsuits which apparently they're accusing Turbine of infringing on a patent that I think was filed after LOTRO came out or something.
Way after LOTRO came out and way after most MMOs that use this kind of technology came out.
So therefore, they are abusing the U.S. patent system, which is a notorious thing these days.
This was blatantly a patent troll, is what this was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because one of the rules about a patent is that the thing is not that the patent, if it only includes prior art, should not be accepted, but apparently the U.S. patent system, unfortunately, is so swamped with applications, they do not thoroughly check them all, and quite a number of patents get through that really should not be. And this is obviously one of them.
It's also my guess that it would end up being more expensive to fight it than it would to just settle and give them the money.
Yeah,
that is often the case.
Yeah, paying that lawyer would definitely be more expensive, I think, than whatever they were asking for.
Of course, I remember one of the most infamous patent cases was when when one of the companies that was infringing the patent asked the patent holder to sue them, and that in the settlement, after the lawsuit, they got an exclusive contract to pay royalties to them so that no one else could use it. That was a weird case with Smith and Wesson. But anyway, anyone have any comments about this other than it being an absolute troll?
I just think it's kind of unfortunate that LOTRO was the lucky one to be. I mean, I know they also did this against a few others, but LOTRO is the only one I've heard that actually settled with it. So, and I guess DDO as well was involved with it. So.
Yeah, as I was going through kind of the research for this post, which I didn't do a lot of, but I did a little bit before I put it out there, it kind of occurred to me that Turbine being a target was interesting because they're not the smallest player out there as far as MMOs and development is concerned, but they're also not the biggest. It's almost like they're kind of in that sweet spot of being just big enough to have some money to be able to do a settlement, but not so big that they're going to come back at you with a big herd of lawyers.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to figure out from the wording of this is what exactly does this patent claim? It sounds, because the wording, I'm sorry, sounds so vague here that.
Yeah, don't try to make sense of.
Okay, I shouldn't be trying to make sense of it. All right, then we'll go from one nonsensical thing into another one, and that is Black Friday.
Indeed.
Fortunately, Black Friday doesn't require you to bust down the store door here at LOTRO. Instead, it's the LOTRO Market, and they had a sale on the Quad Pack, or the expansion Quad Pack. Digital download, $19.99. So if you didn't have any expansions, that's the time to get it. And they also had individual ones on sale.
Yeah, it was kind of amusing. In my column today, somebody was whining about, I was thinking of going back to LOTRO, but I looked at all the expansions and everything I need to buy, and I'd have to pay over $200 worth of upgrades. There's no way I'm going back. And everybody else was like, what? Seriously? You can get like all of the expansions except for Helm's Deep for $40. I mean, where are you getting the other $160 from?
Oh, well, I have no idea.
So, yeah, that's $20. That's a pretty good deal, especially if you're catching up. It's yeah, it's one of the things we're seeing in games like LOTRO, but also, say World of Warcraft. They just recently expanded their battle chest, their core game, to include all the expansions, except for Mists of Pandaria. And it's these older games have to keep doing this. I mean, EverQuest 2 has pretty much thrown every expansion. Right now, you could go into the game and get almost every expansion except the recent one just included for free. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. If you hold out, chances are you're going to get it free sooner or later, or at least severely discounted. So this is a good thing.
The trick thing is to hold out because, let's face it, many of us want to do the content as soon as it's out there.
But some people are still in the mid-leveling game, taking a long time getting up. So Helm's Deep isn't really that big of a pull for them unless they want.
Unless they want to see the Hornburg. They want to fight at the Hornburg, and with upscaling, they can fight at the Hornburg.
Now we know what Pineleaf likes to do.
Have you tested out that upscaling, by the way?
I have only run some of the things with a couple of characters. One that was an 85 when doing it, and the other one was 53. Okay. And that I was there doing the dike, and it went reasonably well. I had the Archer side quest, which I think is a little bit on the buggy side since you get swamped with. They seem to have a complete company of enemies swarm right through you when you get that. When you get that side quest, which I think is a little bit of overkill.
I know someone in our kin actually got bronze on a few of them, doing them at level 10, being upscaled, because while they did have a cap character, they wanted to see what the upscaling was like, and so it seems to work fairly well. So,
I'd really like to see them roll that upscaling out to more systems.
The Atmos in particular, I would think.
Yeah.
That we'll have to see. Now that was the Black Friday deals. We, of course, also have our regular LOTRO sales. And our free sample for this week is a Random Relic Pack ×1 RRP85. Random, I guess that means Random Relic Pack. Okay, what the 85 stands for, I have no clue. Unless
85th time they've done it.
I doubt that, but it does remind me that I do have to grab a random pack for one of my characters.
Well, actually, the weird thing about this one is it's twice per account this time.
Oh, it's twice per account.
It's 2 per account this time.
All right, thanks for mentioning that. I had completely forgotten about it. And we also have 25% off of legendary slot unlocks, legacy tier upgrades, and plus 5,000 enhanced reputation supply. In other words, things that I never buy. I don't know if any of you ever unlock extra slots for your legendaries.
I actually did on my main. I actually have all 10, and that's just because it takes forever to level them up, and usually I'm wanting to never worry about them, and so I try to throw in as many as I can and just level them up, and then when they all get full, I go to the guy to deconstruct them and all that stuff.
The legendary item system being something that I despise, I would never spend money on it.
Yes, I quite understand that.
I've bought a couple of them, but mainly when I got that bridle and stuff that I had to add.
Right. As for legacy tier upgrades, if I ever wanted to do that, I would do it with skirmish marks instead. Now that is it for game news, so therefore we'll head over into our website news, and we'll begin with BraxClan Episode 2.
Yeah, I got another one out there. If you were listening last week, you knew that we kind of introduced my new video cast series that I'm doing with my two boys when we're playing LOTRO playthroughs together. We're doing about 20-minute segments. Last week I did one with my younger boy who plays a guardian, and this week I put up one that I've done with my older son who plays a champion.
You're going out.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not a big deal. Somebody else can talk about it if they've watched it. It's just that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any comments on that?
It's like I'm on a bad acid trip.
There have been weirder episodes.
I'll have to go back to the archive here.
Yes. Yeah, so after hearing Brax talk from the Outer Limits there.
Skynet is happening, people. It's happening.
Yes. Very well. Yes, that was the episode where they... see. Oh yes. Tom Bombadil was a merry fellow. His boots were made of yellow. Yes. Or something like that. Bright blue his jacket is. Oh, I can't quote Tom Bombadil at the moment, right? Very well. Anyway, anyone have anything else they want to say about the BraxClan episode other than the Skippity Hop fellow?
I'm still trying to understand exactly what you just said. You just randomly quoted Tom Bombadil.
Yes, sorry about that. Well, that sort of comes from the episode with the BraxClan where they're visiting Tom Bombadil. That was the main thing that's the main thing that I remember from the episode. Very well. With that out of the way, we'll then head into LOTRO Academy 86, episode 86, and then some. So it was a little bit of a while. We had a good number of guests for that episode. Of course, we had Mystery there.
Really? Was I there?
Yeah, you were there.
Oh, sheesh.
And I remember Akazia was there.
Yes.
And Chris from LOTRO.
I was going to say Carrie from LOTRO.
You're right, Carrie from LOTRO Recorder. Yes, you can remember names better than I do, apparently.
Yes, Braxwood.
All right. The knife digs deeper.
But yeah, that was a fun episode, and it was good having Acacia and Carrie on the show. It was the first time for Carrie, so I hope she enjoyed it.
Very well, yes. She claimed to when she was on the show, but you never know what they're saying outside.
So now we'll move on and hopefully do episode 101 soon.
Yes. Very well. And Brax's pick for this week. Unfortunately, Brax is having a little sound trouble. So therefore, I will tell you what his pick of the week is, and that is an article called "The Road to Mordor: First Impressions of Helm's Deep." Now, I think there's someone here who actually knows a thing or two about this article.
I think this is rigged.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this with all your guests, but yeah, it's totally rigged. Yeah, so I heard you guys talk about your first impressions last week. So right now, my Road to Mordor, it's on an every other week schedule. So although I've been in the game ever since the expansion launched, it was only just recently that I was able to kind of post actually today my impressions on the internet. So yeah, on the whole, it was a total surprise. I have to say, working in media gets a lot of misconceptions. Like, we always have instant beta access. Not true. Turbine never sent me a beta for this particular expansion. I did get in on some dev tours, but that was a developer showing you exactly what they wanted to show you, and it wasn't hands-on or anything like that. So really, I was very kind of underwhelmed, not very excited about this expansion. I've kind of been burning out slowly on LOTRO over the past 6 months, just not feeling it with Wildermore. And I felt like Rohan just kind of went on, and I was just like, oh, do I have to do another half of Rohan? I'm just, it was really fun at first, and I felt like writers of Rohan, like they front-loaded all the awesome parts, like, the epic story. You got in there, and there's Frodo, there's everybody. And then it was just like a whole bunch of riding around the plains and talking to town after town about how much it sucks that they're not getting support from the king. So anyways, long story short, wasn't really looking forward to the expansion as much as I was hoping I would be. The big battle system didn't seem like as much of a personal appeal. But got into the expansion that Wednesday, and I was just amazed. And I think it's my 180 on this whole attitude toward the expansion is that it just felt like the best part of LOTRO all over again. Like when you first got into the game and you're first playing through the Shire or Breland, that early game experience where you're just kind of very immersed in the world, you're loving the music, you're loving the land, you get to know the culture of the people you're helping. And it was like that all over again because, really, when we're getting into West Rohan here, it's not a vast wilderness. It's a populated country with a lot of towns and a lot of people, and I feel like they did a very good job just kind of, I guess they're kind of smaller quests in terms of scope, but they get you to know the people, they get you to know the towns. I thought some of the quests were very innovative, and my kin was just kind of like falling all over themselves, really just giddy and having fun and enjoying the new class changes, which I feel like I know a lot of people are very apprehensive about, and I haven't heard as much backlash about it after launch. I've stayed off the forums as a principal, but
there'll always be backlash there.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll always be backlash there. But in terms of what my friends and my kin and what I see on the comments, people are generally pretty positive about it. It's really really nice having the multi-spec. It's really nice having faster combat. Less cluttered skill bars. My captain, I spec'd Hands of Healing for the first time ever. Loving it. It's just, tossing out AoE heals while I'm, in combat is just great. So my preliminary first impressions are huge thumbs up. I am, however, just blowing through this expansion incredibly quick. Little nervous about what awaits me when I finish. I don't know, big battles, I know they put a lot of effort into. From what I'm seeing, any game that has like a scenario system, skirmish system, it's kind of fun in a limited number of runs, but you got to be a guy like Pine Leaf. That's if that's your thing, that's great. But for me, I'll probably do it a few times, honestly, and then just be done with it. And I'm not seeing the rewards as being that tempting. Epic jewelry. Ooh.
Yes.
I asked them. I was on the dev tour, and they told me that, and I said, "Seriously?" He said, "Yeah, we don't want to do the whole armor sets again because we felt that was a little tired." So you're just giving out jewelry, and then they're like, "Well, the people who decided the reward systems aren't in the room right now, so yeah, we're not going to talk about that. No, I want it. Go get them. Go down the hall. Bring them in here. I want to talk to not the idiot, but the guy who decided. So now I'm like, maybe you guys have a good idea. Is it like just crafting now and running old instances? Where are you going to get your armor from at 95? The good stuff. Are we going to wait for?
Mainly just crafting at the moment.
I noticed that there's a trader and helps you. What does he trade?
Jewelry.
He barters jewelry?
Yep.
That's really top tier jewelry.
What surprised me, though, was that there's not even PvP reward armor right now. And so Freeps can't even get the higher level audacities to be balanced with the creeps right now.
Although I think, I think Sip mentioned in the article, with player power levels as they are, it's not likely they'll need it.
It really feels like we're a little too overpowered. And I was seeing that comment over and over again. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Are we at a good power level? Or are we just steamrolling over the bad guys?
First off, the landscape is pretty much behind the curve on everything, because I notice I could steamroll through landscape content very, very quickly, but a little bit more challenge on the skirmish side than on the landscape side. So, but it is still relatively easy on that side.
I think normally I'm a little bit overpowered on landscape, but after the changes to the champion, now I'm just obnoxiously overpowered to the point where it's not really a challenge anymore, and it's the changes are what are keeping me interested. It's not the challenge of combat, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that I don't think, quite often when this question comes up, people think that it's Turbine making content constantly easier. I don't think it's necessarily the case this time, because questing through West Rohan, I've been through all of it now, there are quite a few cases where they try and say, this quest is meant to be challenging. It isn't, because classes are so ridiculously overpowered. I think it is simply a case of the class changes being over the top.
Yeah, I have a feeling that is the primary reason for the whole thing.
Well, another thing I noticed is, okay, first of all, maybe I just never noticed this before, but on the tooltips for gear, now I'm seeing item levels. Have we ever had
that's a joke.
Yeah, I don't understand that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I never saw that before, and now I'm noticing the gear I had was suddenly jumping 40 item levels with all the quest reward gear.
Yeah, the trouble is, this is something that I saw on the forums, that when they were making the gear, they decided that this is a trap that I think that Turbine put themselves into. They always made it so that people go get all the gear from Hootbald, which is, of course, very high-level gear. I forgot which color on it because I never keep track of the various tiers of gear that they have within each level. And now everybody has top-tier gear, and, of course, the only way to upgrade from it would have been to have top-tier gear again. So what they did is they inflated all the gear so that even the lower ranked tier could be higher than the top-tier gear, and so, of course, anything above that is inflated even worse. And that's a trap they got themselves into, and it's a mess, in my opinion.
That was something I definitely remember when I first started questing in West Rohan. I had a full set of Hypebolt gear. That's some of the top tier stuff from the previous expansion. And as soon as I got the first Epic Quest pieces of gear, it was way better than the stuff I had. The stat bloat is just incredible.
Yeah, because, my captain was 9,000... health, morale, and now I'm 13k. Within a couple levels, it's just a severe jump in stats, and especially when you're comparing it to the landscape mobs, we're just it feels like we're bullying them. It really does.
Yeah,
I feel so bad about it. Sorry, guy. Bam, bam.
Poor Saruman.
I still died 3 times while leveling though, mostly because of the warbands.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the
get run over by him.
Yeah, Yeah, the war bands can be a little bit tougher than the rest of the landscape mobs.
Well, stats aside, I think the new area is just absolutely gorgeous. I haven't been to all of the zones, but the ones I have been to, especially around Edoras, it's really nice to see the trees. It's nice to see landscape where the roads aren't like meticulous, but they have the overgrowth. Each of the towns seem to have a really nice personality to them, which is another thing that reminded me of the early game in Shire and Breland and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going around like taking screenshots, really giddy, going doing the paths of the dead, going right up to the scary door that everybody goes, well, I wonder what will happen if I help.
Fortunately, I got through that in beta.
Yeah. You have to do that once. That's like a rite of passage right there. So maybe I'll be strong enough with this awesome new gear. Nope. Yeah, so on the whole, I'm having a lot of fun now. I am really wondering what Turbine's plan is for the next few months. One question I haven't seen come up, and I'm going to be raising in probably my next column, so please don't take this and you guys run it out the door first. But what about the housing update, people?
That's supposed to be in December, which is, I know, well, for Etheros, it's already December.
Yeah, I can't tell you anything about it.
I don't think we're going to be seeing it this year. I don't think they've been talking about it. I don't think they've been doing much on it at all.
Well, I think that a lot of people are actually expecting these big, huge housing changes, but Turbine in several places actually said that you guys are getting way excited about these changes, but they're actually not going to be that big.
They've been putting it down ever since they announced it.
They have. Ever since they announced it, they've been saying at different events that we're doing these changes, but they're not going to fix everything and go through these huge sweeping changes. They're just going to be changes to the existing system to help benefit players in various ways.
Right. Yeah. So far.
You mean the overpriced storage chest when hiding?
Yeah, that was phase
update?
2.
Yeah, Kate Pius said in January, I am extremely pleased to say that this year we will be tackling a major revision to the housing system. And they said, we're going to gather information in February and March, and we will be releasing revisions to the system in the latter half of the year. So, yeah, I think they're just running a little bit behind schedule. I mean, I don't know if it's been brought up among you guys, but the fact that this expansion was released in November instead of like the past couple expansions were released in September. Yeah. It kind of just makes me feel like they're big battles probably cause them to slow down a little bit, and who knows.
Let's face it, Turbine has a very long history of thinking they can do more in a given amount of time than they can actually do. I don't think I've ever heard of anything for Turbine where they thought, yes, we're going to get it by then, and where the first deadline I hear or feel that they're thinking of was actually met. I think that's why they try to avoid saying the deadlines as long as possible. It's because of that.
But what do they class as a major update?
Well, apparently a lot less than many of the people on the forums think is a major update.
Well, maybe they're just adding garden gates to your fences.
We shall see.
Holes.
Well, I would love it if they can have an alternate layout for a deluxe house in the Shire, because I will not touch a deluxe house in the Shire because I think they look so unhobbity it's ridiculous.
I think in the end, if the housing update does come out this month, then it's not going to be major, not even slightly.
No, I don't think so. I can't see how a 12.1 update can have a major housing update in it.
Yeah, I just think they're kind of playing, they're scrambling, they're playing catch up. They got the expansion out of the door a little later than they were hoping. This housing thing's not going to really come out as planned, and then they got, okay, we need to get the next big zone out. I'm betting it's going to be the Paths of the Dead. I think that would probably be the thing to to get everybody to play.
Yeah. But what can we? Well, what kind of questing can you have inside the Paths of the Dead? I mean, those ghosts aren't going to be giving out quests.
Well, as
Could it
long
be
as
like
they...
a dwarf thing where, like in Moria, an expedition inside? And
Oh no!
I believe they
Not
did mention
another
dwarves being in the White Mountains. I think they mentioned that at some point in the questing thing, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. As long as they do it after Aragorn goes through, I think they can get away with whatever they want to do.
Oh
to
yeah,
extend.
after it's vacated by all the dead, I guess it could. But that means that we would have to first have the epic go take us, or at least take Aragorn through the Paths of the Dead, and we still have to take care of
Isengard.
Yeah, Isengard, and give Saruman what for. Yes.
I think the other possibility is going across the river from the Eastfold into Anorion, where the beacons are located there. That's slightly more likely, I think, in that there's not as much of a lore issue, but I suppose they could make a storyline out of the whole beacons thing. They did touch on that with the Eastfold.
Yep.
Yeah, true. I suppose that's a possibility. Now, let's have a look at donations for this week, and unfortunately, we did not receive any. If you want to help LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can help support the podcast on LOTRO players and also help support the site. We have $5 and $10 mentions where you can donate. A $5 mention will get you a mention on the podcast of your choice. A $10 or more donation will allow you a mention on all of our currently active podcasts. Feedback, reviews. Oh, we received a review from iTunes. Yay!
Number 2.
We shall receive.
Yes, from DG Enxali.
That's how I'd pronounce it.
All right. Or is that D Jenksally?
DJN actually works well enough.
All right. Anyway, it's titled Awesome Podcast, one of the best podcasts about LOTRO. The hosts have a good gaming sense and passion for the game. If you are a LOTRO player, then this is a must-listen podcast. And we were looking for a featured comment, but no one was posting comments this week. They're too busy eating turkey or something like that.
That's right. We still received quite a few comments, but nothing really stood out to us this week. So,
that's probably because there's no exciting news, therefore no exciting comments in response to it.
People are too busy playing.
Right. And certainly not sending out emails either, because we did not receive any emails, and if you would like to send us an email, then we might read it on the show. And we have to teach Andang that it's I before E except after C, yes.
I fixed it. Don't worry.
Yes, yes, you can email us at lotroplayers.mymiddleearth@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players. You can follow Andang at PVMP_Andang. You can follow Braxwolf at Braxwolf.
You got it right again.
3 in a row. How about that? You can follow Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and that's with numbers, not with spelling it out. Ethros at Ethelros. Mystery at Mystery. Kiss Hug Kiss. And you could follow our special guest Sip at Sipster. SYPSTER. LOTRO Players goes live every Saturday at 8:30 server time, which is U.S. Eastern Time, and you can join us by going to lotroplayers.com/live, and be sure to join us in the chat. And thank you all for coming here today. Everybody dance now.
Do you guys have a dance party at the end?
Nah.
Not when we break royalties.
Right. That is all for tonight. Until next time, this is Pine Leaf Neils, and remember to skirmish responsibly.
Have fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yo, Pine Leaf.
Good night.